I was just curious about you. Like someone posts this almost also at the same time as when I was asking for it from the universe, right? Like I said, so that's why I'm here. But maybe I was just curious, like how come somebody has time to do this, or why do you want to do this, you know?
Yeah.
So that brought me here.
I'll give a quick couple of sentences, and I think it'll actually kick off really well into what you were talking about.
Sure.
So I do this mostly because I like that moment when two people who don't know each other at all come together and find some sort of common ground.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about that is there seems to be some sort of connection that's hanging out in the ether somewhere, just waiting for the pieces to find their way to each other.
True.
And so you were talking a lot about serendipity and about maybe this being the right time for you. You've said some things out loud. So let's just start there and kind of fill me in on maybe the background, the moment, and then what's coming from it.
Okay, the background. So I have a tech background, and there comes a point when you realize, okay, this maybe is not that sustainable. Like not just the tech background, but I think the pace of life that we're moving at. So I keep thinking about maybe the concept of, I think, scarcity. At least when I was in tech actively up until last year, I was thinking about scarcity, but I couldn't help, but I was born with probably an abundance mindset, right? But I felt like the magnetic pull towards scarcity was much larger when you kind of fill up your hours with something and don't let yourself be bored, and you just always have something to do. So as I started moving away from it, I realized the same things that are scarce are also probably abundant. So I think my past almost 1 year has been just about that word. It's been that word in my life. I breathe it, I live it.
Has it caused any friction, any sort of change from one word to the other, one mindset to the other? It seems like this is a pivot point for you somehow. What's been the friction that kind of led to the pivot point?
I think it's phases of life. So it's not a pivot point. It keeps coming and going, and I think the pivot might be that I'm going to hold on to it this time. So I'm going to stick with it. And you're asking like what led to that? I don't know, maybe just not having my own hours as mine, so I just claimed it back, and I think that's the moment when I knew, okay, now I'm gonna hold on to this. Like everything else probably revolves around this. So it's the greediness for my own time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more fulfillment that comes out of life when you're living it on your own terms.
Yeah.
What does it look like when you're living it on your own terms?
It's hard, again, because your mind and your body is trained a certain way to follow routine, to follow some kind of structure that maybe you didn't create for yourself. And when you leave that journey and you kind of move on to your own, then you kind of are building it from scratch again. And somehow you get used to certain patterns and certain, signals that kind of tell you that this is what stability means. And just finding that rhythm again is, I think, it's been a journey. But you find it, yeah.
Are you sort of saying that there's something that you were taught was a lifeboat, and the lifeboat, you keep one hand on it for safety, but you're like, that's not actually a great lifeboat. That's maybe kind of a shitty lifeboat. Maybe let's go find my own?
It's interesting because I wasn't handed the regular lifeboat that people are when they're like in job and structured environments, or they're like have a stable life. I come from a business family, so people were always they were free to choose like what kind of things they wanted to do. Like my dad has probably had more than 4 or 5 careers, and in a very young span of his life time. So I was born into that, and then somehow the world convinces you to be something else, and also your scenarios and situations. Like I wouldn't switch it out for anything. Like I wouldn't change anything that I've lived. I would keep it exactly as it is, and I'd keep going. And now I'm just realizing that it feels like coming back home to myself, I think, mostly.
And it sounds like from your dad, like 5 businesses, 5 lives in one. Yeah. Who knows what he's doing now. It seems like there's a comfortability with transition that you're okay with.
I think so, yeah.
What has to change? So whenever we have sort of a safety net or a structured routine even, there is constancy in there between people and places and things to do. When you're going into a new phase, do you have to let go of any of it?
You have to carry it with you gracefully. And you have to, of course, shed parts and unlearn the things that don't serve you anymore.
What stopped serving you?
What stopped serving me? That's a good question. Maybe we'll give it like an abundance of pause in this moment. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm just excited to be probably coming back to my creative self. Like sometimes you are boxed in certain, decisions or in certain ways of living and thoughts and like constraints, whatever you have, right? And somehow, again, I think it ties back to the freedom or having your, claiming back your hours. So I'm excited about just the kind of creativity that comes out of it.
Yeah.
What didn't serve me? Certain systems, I think. And maybe I'm someone who's not keeping a record of what doesn't serve me, but more about like where I'm headed. I'm like more focused on now and like what's next.
But with creativity, a lot of the times it's synthesis of inspiration. So you'll take all these things that are around you and you'll take your unique lens of what's interesting about all of them and then synthesize something new that's built on top of them. And when we're in certain organizations, they'll tell us what to look at, what to take from it, what to build from it, and it stops being you that's doing the building. You're just like a conduit for it. Do you feel like there are new places that you're excited to be looking at for these creative perspectives, and what are you going to be like sort of building from it, you think?
Just having conversations like this, maybe. So I have the liberty to do that. Like I'm on my own schedule, so I'm here in between the day. And I think there's inspiration all around. Like it's coming in the form of, forums I'm reading or the books that I'm reading or things that I'm doing with people when I'm getting out, and it's coming with strangers in a park.
Have there been any things that have stuck with you recently? Any books or conversations?
So there is this book called Seva, and it's written by someone like who probably shares the same roots as mine. So, but I don't think like that matters, because even if somebody from like a different background, different cultural context reads it, like you kind of get what that thing is about. Maybe the angle or the the point or the thing that they're trying to convey. Maybe I'm like going much deeper than that. Like for me, when I read that book, it's reminding me, where I come from and what are the things that I maybe lived when I was a child, like lived through. So for me, it's a mix of nostalgia. It's a mix of reminder of my values. It's a mix of maybe sometimes also enlightenment. Like I do this, I think like this, but why? Sometimes it's just making me more aware. And because it's just so deeply embedded. And Seva, like it means service. So Seva is like I don't know, maybe a Hindi or a Urdu word, and it means service. And I think there is a concept of being in service of others. And I think that's becoming a big focus. Like it always was. We were born into it. Like we're Sikhs. There's Punjabis and Sikhs, like this community who's always trying to do something all across the globe for someone, with someone. And the book talks about these concepts wonderfully. I remember like one of the pages is about like how this person who's writing this book is like just out of it. Like she's so consumed by it all, and she doesn't have any energy to serve herself or to serve, like serving others would be like a secondary thought, right? In that moment or whatnot. Like she's just drained, and there's just so much effort that goes into doing anything, right? But that day she decides she's probably going to cook something and then distribute it like, among her neighbors and whatnot. And it just fills her bucket back so much that it, recharges her, it energizes her. And I think doing something for others could be, and she mentions it too, is like probably the quickest path to, I don't know, maybe dopamine or like, just finding happiness in a quick moment. So.
Do you think there's anything else in service, in giving to others, that is more self-gratifying, more self-validating than just the dopamine?
I think it's what you do, what your act does for them. Like there is definitely it's very layered. There is not one single answer to it. What I was talking about is probably what happens with your body, I think. But it's the mind, it's the surface of you. Like, I don't know about like, most of the people listening to this or, like most of the people that I'm around, but I'm someone who probably like catches on to energies very quickly. Like I feel what you feel kind of a person, right? So when I'm around someone and like if they're drained or if their energy is not like vibrating at a frequency that's like probably feeling positive, however you define positive, whatever positive might be for them, right? And you do something for them and suddenly there is this shift of energy, right? So my external body also kind of experiences before it goes inside me.
I like thinking about how much information is just kind of floating around there. Like you're talking about energies and stuff. And by nature, I'm a biological scientist, but there's got to be some sort of resonance structure and then also some sort of sensor on the other side that picks up something, because you can definitely feel when people are stressed or when people are scared. Do you think that you can will yourself into one position or the other? Do you think you can just like embody happiness if you wanted to?
I think so. I think
How would you do it if you were going to do it? If you were practicing it right now, like where would you start?
I think maybe a smile could be one of the gestures that you do. Like I've seen that smile is infectious. It is contagious.
What else do you think you've learned about yourself recently, either from that book specifically or anything else?
I think a lot of the things that I know about myself or I'm focusing on now, like I said in the beginning, right, it's about coming home to myself. So I feel like I forgot some things. I was born with some things. I was born into some things and life changed and, the scenarios changed and it swept you away into something else and you slowly evolve with time and become someone else. And, you explore your different identities. And over time, like today, I think the things that I'm focused on or my personality traits are very much the personality traits of like a child version of me. So it doesn't feel like a new discovery. It just feels like probably I'm like more sync in with being me than I was in the past maybe decade, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What does the child version of yourself want, do you think?
What does a child version of myself want? A lot of things. Children want a lot of things, and at the same time, almost nothing. Like I collect shells wherever I go or stones wherever I go. The child version of me is happy with nothing and everything at the same time. It's simplicity, I think.
There is an easy joy that comes from just like a good shell or a good rock, right? It's just
Easy?
like easy joy.
Yeah,
Just like this is good. You don't have to
Yeah.
have a reason. Have you found more joy?
I have.
Good.
Yeah.
Where's it coming from?
A lot of places again, in the form of there's abundance of it all over. Like from this conversation, there's a 4-year-old niece I have who's been like going to her school for like a week, and she's been calling me every morning.
Yeah.
Like, this is day 2, this is day 3, and I'm just like experiencing the joy even in her nervousness, because this is only lived once and only experienced once. It's coming from being more open to conversations like this.
And I think it's interesting that you were reading a book and you saw a little bit of yourself. And I think that some people out there may watch a video of you explaining yourself and also see themselves.
That's true.
What do you think you'd want them to know about this transition time, about speaking into joy? And
I just, Humans of New York, right? Again, like I think it's traveling from one human to another, right? So somebody on that channel somewhere many years ago said like, love is a choice and you make it every day. And that line stuck with me. And when I think of that sentence, I don't think of it as love is a choice. I think of like whatever, fill in the blank is a choice and you make it every day.
Yeah.
So transitions are hard, and I think it's about waking up every day and choosing who you are going to be that day. And if you keep choosing consistently towards one thing, then you become that. So it's a choice. Yeah.
I think this is really cool because you're talking about this transitive property where it goes from one person from years ago in a Humans of New York thing, and it's inspiring you now. And then other people may take that same thing and run with it. But also what that means is that joy becomes a service. Because things are sort of transitive, you being joyful is a service to make other people joyful because of this sort of transitive kind of thing.
True.
I think that's really cool.
Right.
We did move a little bit because the camera's getting hot, but I want to know who inspires you. I want to know who you want to be.
My grandmother.
Why is that?
She was a very open person. She was a very happy person, and she was the glue. And I think when I say like I want to be her, I feel like in parts I'm already her because I just got it in my DNA from her. She was the glue. She was the person people just, felt comfortable coming towards and be around. And they pursued her as much as she pursued them. So I want to be a people's person. Like I think I already am. So I want to just continue holding on to who I am and not lose it, like because there is plenty of like external factors and things poking right at you, trying to make you someone you're not. So I'm just trying to hold on to the kindness that I was born into or I was born with. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep her spirit alive through me. Yeah,
That's really cool that
Yeah.
she sort of created the opportunity for you to allow her to carry on through you.
yeah, she did,
That's
and not
really
just
cool.
me. I think it's kind of funny. Like it's traveled from her to my dad, from my dad and her to me, and now from me and my dad to my niece. Like I think all 4 of us are like tied by this tiny thread that's maybe keeping our spirit common and aligned and very much like the other. Yeah,
Do you have any good stories?
I have very good stories. Like not on this part, but whenever I talk about my grandmother recently, it reminds me of this story that I keep telling friends and family. Like I'm just so it's again serendipity. When in the era when my grandparents got married, like in India. Yeah, back in India, I think. Because at that time, Pakistan and India were also like one country, right? So then they got like, there was partition and now it became 2 countries. But I think they got married in India, which is like the now India, the other country. And I think in those days, what these people used to do is like they used to engrave their like ancestral names or initials, their last names on utensils. Utensils was like a common thing that got passed around between houses as well. But it was also a common thing that, a person marrying into, I saw a bee going in there, but a person marrying into someone else's family brought utensils with them, right? So that was just one of the gifts or things that the maternal side of the family would give when you go on other side of the family, right? And I think spoons or cutlery was one of the objects. So I'm talking about something maybe that happened maybe how many years ago? Maybe 80 years ago,
Wow.
right? So 80 years ago, there were these spoons that were created and they were engraved with my grandfather's initials on them, right? It was H and S. His name was Harcharan Singh, Aluwalia. So it was H and S. And somehow, like my mom's aware of the kind of connection that I shared with my grandmother and the kind of connection she had with me. Like I'm pretty sure she told things to her which I'm not aware of, but somehow some of her objects as a memory of her have traveled to me in my house. And this one day, like only recently, I was looking through these. I have 7 or 8 of those spoons. They're like ice cream spoons. I remember her keeping them tucked away in a drawer for a special time or occasion, like when everybody comes together and they eat ice cream. Only then these spoons were used. I don't think we live like that anymore. But now I have like a specific area where they're sitting and I only use it for specific purposes. They're tiny. They can't probably be used for anything else. So I look at like the carvings, what's carved on them, right? And I read through the spoons and there are like probably 7 of them and 6 of them say H.S. right? Which is my grandfather's initials. And one of them says K.S, right? And the era when these spoons were probably created was maybe an era of patriarchy and, people were not fighting it. People didn't even know like they needed to fight it or there was something unequal happening or like there was not that much awareness or also like a fight within for that. I think this is a concept that's created after those generations. And while my grandparents were still alive, right, they probably married into patriarchy unknowingly, very young, like they didn't know what it means or whatever. And towards, the end of their lives, I've seen them as equals. Like they have, my grandfather's filling water bottles. He's making the tea. She's cutting the fruit. He's making the rice. She's going to buy something or talking to a friend by the door. So I've seen them as equals towards like the later stages of their lives. And these spoons probably all were HS. And somehow, like the practical thing is like somehow in between their lives, they exchanged a spoon with some other household that has KS as their maybe patriarchy initials, right? But when they sit in my house and I look at those spoons, and one of them is KS, it kind of speaks today's reality of my household because in this house we're equals. So it's not like one person's name on it. K is where my name starts, right? And S is where my husband's name starts. So it's like a beautiful, serendipitous, journey of those spoons making into my house. And, it kind of represents the kind of lives that we've lived and went through and are at. So that's what I think of these days when I think of my grandmother. Yeah.
Do you have any hobbies like that? Any creative hobbies?
I like gardening. I like painting. I'm a pretend painter. Yeah.
So when you're starting a new painting, and we've been talking a little bit about inspiration for creativity, finding it within systems. You want to paint something new, but you don't know what. Where are you starting to reach for inspiration?
Sometimes I'm just staring into blank nothing. Like I'd stare here, but I'm not looking at a specific object for inspiration. So maybe it's my mind. I don't know. And sometimes it just comes in the form of what color or what am I feeling? Like what color am I feeling? Am I feeling purple? Whatever purple means to me. Or am I feeling yellow? So I'll just pick the color maybe. I think that's where it starts, with the color.
So a lot of these paintings, are they representative of whatever space you were mentally in at the time?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, that's funny, but it is. Like I've tested this on myself. Like
my yellow phase.
Yeah, like yellow phase is a nice one. So yeah, but I've seen like I was trying to be yellow. I was trying to be mellow, and I was trying to be light.
Yeah.
And then I picked the colors, and then I looked at my painting, and that was very reflective of what I was in that moment. And it wasn't yellow. It was like somehow the reds and the blacks and the browns and the darks had come out of yellows, you know? I put all the light colors and then I merged them and it was dark because I was probably feeling heavy, and I laughed and I was with a group of strangers and I was like, look at this, I'm just trying to be yellow, but this is just telling me that I can't be right now. But then when I started to become light, the painting started changing.
Just pulsing whatever's inside of you onto the canvas?
I think so. Yeah.
So over the course of your life, do you have a favorite painting? And what was it about that moment that made the painting?
Okay. I was trying to draw a hummingbird. So I'm a pretend painter. Like painters out there, like if you look at whatever I'm talking about, you'll be like, why was she even talking about painting? But I was trying to draw a hummingbird and somehow it wasn't looking like a hummingbird. It looked like a hummingbird, but it was probably the dimensions of it, the size of it was too big for my background, right? So I was like, this doesn't look like a hummingbird. So I started making a flower out of it. I'm like, no, the flower is also not cutting it for me. And then it somehow became a palm tree or a coconut tree for that matter. I don't know which one it is, but maybe let's say it's a coconut tree. And it became that, and from a hummingbird, And it was just one coconut tree that I never knew how to draw, but now I know how to paint it, how to draw it. Because when I made one, I was like, I can make another one. And then before we know it, it was maybe more than 10 coconut trees on there. And then I was like so tempted to add like coconuts to it. I was like, no, I'm not gonna touch it. It's pretty as it is. I like it, and let's settle at this, you know? And then when I sent the painting to my dad, his first response was, no coconuts? I'm like, okay, we have to get back to it and draw coconuts at some point, I guess. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me that you're saying that you're a pretend painter.
I am.
But you are doing exactly what I think art gets most commonly defined as, which is just like representing yourself in whatever medium.
Why not?
That seems like real art. So what do you think on an individual level it would take for you to be a real painter?
I've never had like I would say if there are any hard skills for it, or like the kind of practice that you put into it and the kind of years of experience that you put into it, and the kind of maybe passion or meaning you attach with it. Like for me, it's been a fleeting moment of a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like my sister used to, like she still paints. You could call her like a true painter because she's like, you know, creating with more intention. Like for me, it's a very lightweight hobby. For me, it's a medium to maybe go on a vacation quickly and come back, like, you know? But for her, it's more of a thing that holds like a stronger meaning, I think. Like something that she might not be able to live without doing. I could probably live without doing it. So maybe there is like a little bit of more seriousness to it for someone who's pursuing it, like not like a pretend painter, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think if I looked at any of your paintings that I would get a sense of where your mental, spiritual, bodily sense was in the moment you were painting it?
I think so. You want to look at them?
That feels like art to me. Yeah, I'd love to see
Yeah,
one.
okay. Let's see.
That feels like art. If you can put something up that makes me see you
Yeah.
and feel you and feel the same, I feel like that's art.
Yeah. I don't have them like together, but let me see what I find.
Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting too. Okay, this one I've not talked about, so you can look at it and see if you feel something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you have emotion coming through here. You can see that you are doing, there's like a space that lives here, you know?
Really?
It feels very, like there's light points, and maybe, can I show?
Yeah, sure.
So hard to see here, maybe you can't see it, but there's light points, there's a lot of earthiness, there's maybe even some chaotic things going in there, but some grounding at the bottom. It feels turbulent, but it also feels hopeful in a little way. What
Yeah.
can describe to me a little bit about what you were feeling when you painted this?
Let's see. I was on a vacation when I was painting this, and you know, sometimes when you're on a vacation, you're like, I want to do this, I want to go here, I want to do that, and I was trying to like ground myself, and I was like, no, I just want to like be where I am,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna just enjoy this freedom that I have to be here, of my hours, of my days, of my entire week, because I'm here. So I started, like, I wanted to draw paper plane for the first time. I'm like, okay, paper plane represents freedom. I'm going to draw it. I tried it. Again, same palm tree story. I don't think one of my paper planes came fine.
Palm trees.
Yeah, no, one of my paper planes came fine. The other one did not. The third one did not. I'm like, maybe I don't know how to draw paper planes, you know?
Yeah.
So I just washed all over it. I'm gonna leave one for freedom. And then I'm just going to see how it grows. And it just grew into, like, maybe a forest or whatever my brain's made of. Like, I'm very nature oriented, so.
Yeah, I can see it. There's definitely a feeling of something that comes from it.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
exciting.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think so too. When I look at other people's art, I kind of feel something, you know?
Yeah.
It may not be the exact same thing, maybe some alternate parallel universe kind of a thing, but it's similar.
Yeah.
It's close to the whatever emotional wheel might be.
So your next steps, you have a creative hiatus now, and now you have to pick some sort of medium to continue expressing yourself in a way that feels more intrinsic to you. What sort of things smell good to you now? What vibes are you going towards?
Humans.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I'm going to try to feel more of it by being at the same frequency with others and helping others be, like, more open to sharing their frequencies and sharing their energies with others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything specifically that looks like it, or are you still finding it?
I'm still finding it, still refining it. Yeah, it has to be people-centered. It has to be something traveling from one individual to another.
Yeah.
But we'll see what it becomes.
Yeah, there's a huge need for that right now. We get so isolated. We get so algorithm fed. We're told how to feel
Yeah.
second to second.
Yeah.
We lose all the spontaneity of it. We lose all the serendipity of it. It sucks.
I know.
I hope that you're able to go and create some more beautiful connections in the world, some more transference.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah. It's not on to me though. You know, it's going to be very individualistic, I think. Every individual will have to make that choice.
If you wanted any kind of specific person to come and find you, just putting it out into the universe, what kind of person would that be? What would they be doing? What would they be talking to you about?
I think if there is anyone out there, which I feel like there's plenty of us out there who have something to offer to people around them, and they do so out of no specific thing that they need in return, right? Yeah, I'd love to find those people, and I'd love to be that person for others.
Just continued acts of service through joy.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.